What is up, people? Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to the Cup Chasers podcast. Of course, it's been a wonderful, crazy, wild weekend in the Premier League, in the FA Cup. Also, there's been some games today, some interesting stuff. Inter Milan champions. If you guys didn't see that, that was a crazy game.
Yeah,
but of course, that happened today, actually.
Wow.
But of course, we will be discussing Nico Jackson missing as many chances as he possibly could, and Bernardo Silva and Man City finally getting a deflection go their way. Of course, we will be talking about Rasmus Højlund's solo celebration. Anthony giving it to the Coventry players and how embarrassing it is to support United these days. Say what?
I was like, come on, bro. Seriously? You're talking trash?
Yeah.
Well, it's just crazy. Like Bruno talking trash to the Coventry keeper. Like, bro.
Come on, guys. Yeah, come on. So we'll definitely touch in there. We'll look at the Premier League. Arsenal back on top. Although Wolves, to be fair, weren't awesome. Liverpool keeping pace with a win. And there, of course, is more to come. Previews, predictions, another Cup Chasers derby. Arsenal and Chelsea, of course. There's a Merseyside derby in the week, as well as Brighton hosting Manchester City. So plenty to get to, plenty to talk about right out the rip. Let's get the likes up on the video. Of course, you already know. Subscribe if you're new. Of course, we are grateful for you being here. We're on our way to the magical 1,000, and get the notification bell on for all of the upcoming action. All right. Only one place to start. Saturday. Guys, head-to-head. My whole entire assessment of the game, Nico Jackson should have won 5-0.
By himself.
Yep.
I mean, the sad thing is that I'm not shocked he missed.
Oof. I'm shocked he missed the double. The biggest one is the header after, like when it was back-to-back chances, and he had the header after one, and he's just.
And that's the one I'm not upset about. He just didn't get enough power on it.
The breakaway one was the saddest, most ridiculous thing because all he had to do was just go on and shoot, and he didn't even bother.
No,
like,
he didn't.
Tried to dribble him again.
Replay, and all he had to do was put his left foot on it. That's it.
Yeah. No, the header is the only one I'm not really mad about, actually. I thought, he headed it down. I didn't think he got enough power on it just the way the header was either way. Now that could be a technique thing. That could have been just placement of the ball. Who knows? But I wasn't upset about the header. I was more upset about not taking a shot on the breakaway. But truthfully, I wasn't surprised. I mean, he's a guy who's got to be playing with confidence, and what I came away from the game is he can be one heck of a left wing if we don't ask him to shoot. He really can. But you're getting paid to shoot and score, and sorry, buddy, you can't be a striker next year. I think he also missed a couple chances against Liverpool in the Carabao as well, if I remember right. But my main thing, and this is going to sound like a soapbox, so I apologize. Everybody talking about, this isn't Poach's fault, blah, 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 blah. And I get it. I do. No, seriously, there have been tons of tweets about, Pochettino set them up for success, Jackson just didn't score, blah, 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 blah. I can see that at a surface level, but when you start to, break it down, the subs, I don't know what he was thinking with some of them. I know he needed to get Gusto off. I totally understand that. I would have rather seen Alfie Gilchrist at right back than Disasi. If you don't want to bring Gilchrist on,
I agree.
Move Trevor over to right back. I know that while Doku didn't have the biggest contribution in the goal, he had a contribution. he got the ball to De Bruyne. That's right. De Bruyne was the one that put the ball in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got the ball to De Bruyne because DeSassi was doing his best spin white. Gusto, on the other hand, had Doku and Grealish kind of in his back pocket for most of the day, or it felt that way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Grealish is really starting to get under my skin. I'm not gonna lie to you. He gets under everybody's skin.
He does.
I haven't.
Good job.
His job is to
That's what he
dive
did
and win fouls. His job is to dive and win fouls.
Yeah.
Most of the time he is fouled, though. Most of the time he is fouled.
Okay. He's fouled a lot. He's definitely fouled a lot.
The first yellow
I
card
didn't say he
Caicedo
don't
was like, bro.
I didn't say he doesn't dive. I just said most of the time he's fouled.
The first one on Caicedo, I'm like, that's a dive. Come on. Like, come on. Anyways, so I have a problem with that. I have a problem with playing Conor Gallagher on the left wing.
That one baffled me, man.
We got nothing from the left because of him. Nothing.
To be fair, Mud Dog didn't do anything either when he.
Well, yeah, but he also got like 10 minutes.
Well.
I mean, just truthfully, he got 10 minutes. I mean, I'm not the biggest Raheem Sterling fan, but why didn't he start on the left wing? If you're not going to play Mudryk, why don't you start Raheem on the left wing?
It sounds like Pochettino thinks about Gallagher the same way Arteta thinks about Havertz. It's if he's not in the line, I don't care what I have to do. We're getting this man in the lineup today. If he's playing goalkeeper, he's in the lineup.
100%. And that's what drives me crazy. And I know if X were on here, he would argue with me. But that's why I want to sell him. That's partially the reason why I want to sell him.
But that's the manager, not the player.
I mean, I get that. But if you are so hell-bent on getting a guy on the field that you play him as a 10 when he's not a 10, and then you play him as a left wing when he's not a left wing, he did the same thing with Ben Chilwell. If you think about it, he put Ben Chilwell at left wing.
Awful. He was terrible, by the way.
And he was putting Levi Colwell at left back. I get injuries. I do. Hey, Cucurella's injured, blah, blah. You have Ben Chilwell. Let him play left wing. Or play a 3-5-2 and let him be a left wing back. But this continuous of I got to get Gallagher on the field. I mean, great. When he's in a right position, cool. Fantastic. Saturday, he provided absolutely zero. Absolutely zero. I know that we like to take shots on Enzo. Enzo outplayed him easily, in my mind. And that's where I struggle with, Pochettino set this team up to be successful. I'm sorry, when you are putting a team sheet out and you have left wingers, we won't even get started on the whole left back thing from the beginning of the season to now. But you have left wingers, either you trust them and you play them, or you play someone else that is a left winger or an attacker of some sort. Whether it's you put Cole out to the left so you can play Madueke on the right, and then play, Conor Gallagher as a 10. Again, don't like it, but at least it would have made some sense. It would have provided two sides of the attack. We didn't have two sides of the attack. Cucurella actually had a pretty good cross into the box because nobody covered it, because there was literally no one over there to be covered. He just ran right by people. I mean, seriously. Conor Gallagher is pulled further into the box. I got into this argument with somebody, gosh, it was about 6-7 years ago now. It's actually longer than that. It was when Juan Mata was coming to Chelsea. And they're like, well, he cuts inside. He cuts inside. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. He can create. He can, create goals and scoring chances and everything. And then when you saw it with Hazard and Juan Mata, you saw that overload on that left side, but it was bogged down. You needed to have a left back to overlap to actually create space for Hazard, And I see that now when Gallagher is either playing as a 10. When he's playing as a 10, he either clogs the middle, which then makes any chances for Jackson non-existent, or he'll float out to the left, which will then clog the left side of the pitch to where there's no space. And that's where I get frustrated, because I'm like, this guy doesn't know how to play this position. And maybe we don't have somebody who can. Okay? I'm cool to come to that realization if I need to. But if you're so hell-bent on getting him on the field, switch the formation up so that he can play it in a position that is advantageous for the whole team. And that's where I'm like, this is where Pochettino has issues.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for someone to just throw out their starting lineup like, hey, this is what we got. But once we started having injuries and whatnot, and I understand you plug and play and do whatever you can, but there comes a point to where it's no longer about injuries. It's about what you want as a manager. And what you want as a manager is not being successful to the club.
Yeah, I agree. I think to your point about people who think that, on the surface, because I kind of I had a twinge of pity and sympathy for Poch as well because of how many chances Jackson missed. And I thought that while it would have papered cracks, they should have finished a couple of those and won the game.
Of course.
That being said, I think that this narrative comes from no one's talking about the fact that City were really, really poor. And I don't think that Poch should get the credit for having set Chelsea up so good, because Lewis, City were terrible, man. You even texted and said that was the worst they had played all season.
Awful. They were, from the beginning, they sucked. Like, they just sucked. And the thing is, and I didn't account for it. And I mean, I'm not going to say Pep is right in his crying or his complaint.
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on that.
But I do get the point of why did they play on Saturday instead of Sunday? Like, I mean, there was no reason for them not to play on Sunday.
Yeah,
I could understand if like United and Coventry, but they were off the whole week. So, how much did it attribute to it?
A little bit. Y'all look tired.
A little bit.
You look tired.
I will say not enough to be that bad, but enough for to see a drop in form, because they were bad, man. Like everywhere, everybody was bad. And do I think the result is different if they played Sunday? I have no idea, because and I mean I I'm a pretty honest supporter. They were lucky to get out of there with a win. Absolutely lucky to get out of there with a win. It was my biggest thing, and I think I wrote this in the chat. I'm like, it's a good thing that Chelsea were bad. Like if Jackson didn't miss everything, we would have got smoked, man.
5-0.
They'd have got smoked.
5-0. You should have lost 5-0.
And I'm being honest about that. Now, so what are the controversial plays? So the
handball. We'll talk about the pen. We'll talk about the penalty shout for sure.
So
if you want to go there immediately,
yeah, we can. So which one?
Jackie Grealish, the handball in the wall on the free kick.
Well, the thing that was so weird about that is I didn't understand why they had a gap between them. That doesn't happen.
That made no sense.
That was stupid. Because the thing is, he jumped, the ball hit him here, and then immediately hit him in his arm. It is a handball. I'm not saying it's not a handball. It hit him in his body, and then it hit his arm. And his arm was naturally going out that way, but it was a handball by the rule. But what was more confusing, I saw this on social media, and I said it at the game because I went to watch it with supporters. I said at the game, I was like, they were like, "Is that a handball?" I was like, "I don't know," but the ball hit him, and then it was a goal kick. And I'm like, "Why is it not a corner?" Like, I was being honest, it was a corner. But here's the thing, and I guess I get the logic. We've talked about ref logic. If he gives the corner, you have to acknowledge the handball. You have to. There's no way you give the corner without acknowledging the handball, because the ball hit him and then it hit his arm. So then you would have to say that you didn't call a handball and it hit him. So they had to literally give him the goal kick, which was crazy, because I was like, okay, they didn't call a handball, but I'm like, that's a corner. I was confused. Again, City should have got smoked. I've never seen a 3-man wall where the other man is an arm length away from you. Like, what was the wall for then?
I think it's because who was it on the far left on the outside? Was it Diaz?
I think it was Diaz.
It's because they did this. They turned their back, and so it looked like there was a bigger gap, because Grealish kind of jumps to the side a little bit away from him, and his arm is out. And
no, Alvarez was the other side. It was Alvarez.
Because Alvarez twisted away from Jack Grealish, it opened up a bigger gap behind Alvarez, and then it either
a wall. What? I was like, what is that?
But I hear you with the fact that, okay, Oliver's given a goal kick, and they can't. I mean, you can't turn that around in VAR. Although no. I personally think that in the spirit of VAR is to get the effing decision right. So if you
how to use it,
I know, exactly, they do. I'm saying if you are in this situation where you're reviewing a penalty, say, like this handball, and Michael Oliver is clearly blatantly got the wrong goal kick or corner kick, but it's also clear and obviously not a penalty, I think the referee should be able to say, look, I effed it. It's actually a corner kick from the VAR. But that's a whole nother situation from this. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
you should be able to change that ruling because it's such an innocuous ruling. You know what I mean? And I also hear you if they acknowledge that it's hit him. Handball. It's a handball.
If he calls
it has
to be a handball.
Here's the question. Here's the real kicker. What if he'd gotten it right and had called a corner kick on the field? Would they have then called it a penalty? Because he's already acknowledged that it hit him and he's called the corner.
So here's where my gripe comes in.
I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that, man.
Here's where my gripe comes in. We have had a VAR referee come out and say, I didn't want to show up the official on the field. We've got an actual instance of that being documented. And so is that what happened here? And if that's the case, get rid of VAR.
I agree with that.
You know, if that's the case, get rid of VAR and just let it be human error. You know, I mean, because
it's human error anyway. It's human error anyway. We've just put added time. We just put added time on the end of the game and let the humans make more errors anyway. That's all it is at the moment.
I can deal with that. But when you hear that, oh, there's a VAR check, you're like, oh, okay, they're gonna see this handball, and they did nothing, and you're just like, what the? You know, at some point, it doesn't make any sense.
You want to hear some more stuff that doesn't the math ain't mathin'? I don't know if you're aware of this, but Michael Oliver flies regularly to the United Arab Emirates, to the Saudi Pro League, who is sponsored by the same Sheikh Al Mansour that owns Man City, And Oliver gets paid by the owners of Man City to referee in this other league, but then comes and referees Manchester City games. Now, on the surface, that's a conflict of interest.
Mhm.
Without even making accusatory conspiracy theories, that's a conflict of interest for me. If your employer, if your employer over here in this job is then competing in a competition over here that you are officiating on and supposed to, that's just a conflict of interest. And not for nothing, but Michael Oliver has made some questionable decisions nearly every time he's refereed for Man City.
Yeah.
I don't like Michael Oliver anyway.
I don't either.
I don't think he's that great of a referee anyway, but this is just more, they don't help himself with this kind of crap. I get it though. If I'm Michael Oliver, I'm not turning down however much crap loads of money they pay the referees to do the Saudi League. I'm not doing it either. And if nobody's saying tisk tisk, then yeah, whatever. But I'm just saying that does exist.
And I think that's another point to the matter. I mean, again, human error, I get. Cool. That's what we have VAR for. If they called somebody offsides and a goal is scored, or if they didn't call somebody offsides and a goal is scored, and then they can go back multiple frames where the play actually does not affect the score happening, but say, they're offside by a toe, that's what happened in the Man United game, then how can you not go back and say, that didn't look right. We want to look a little bit closer at it. And I'll have to find it and send it to y'all, but there's a view from the sideline, and it is clear as day from that view. Like, clear as day. Like, initially I was like,
the handball or the Coventry offside?
The handball.
Yeah, the handball. The handball is clear, for sure.
I mean, clear as day. And, the joke is there's a campaign against Chelsea and, whatever. But you get frustrated, and then it all, compounds when you played okay, you should have had 5 goals, and you end up losing.
And then this on top of that.
On top of that.
You had an opportunity where you should have been able to bail yourself out.
Yeah, exactly.
Your horrendous misses, and then they robbed you of that too.
Yeah. That's where my frustration kicks in, because it's like, okay, it's like the argument. Yes, that happened, but that doesn't excuse this. I mean, it happened in Clemson basketball against Duke. They call a technical foul on Clemson for something that is the absolute stupidest thing I've ever seen in basketball. So that happened, and Clemson was up by, 6. They ended up blowing the lead. A questionable foul call is called on Clemson for Clemson to finally blow the lead. And people were like, well, you blew chances. And I'm like, yes, that happened, but that doesn't excuse the referees doing this. And that's my opinion on all of it. Yeah. Did we deserve to win? Probably not.
No, definitely
probably not. But that doesn't excuse an obvious and clear error by the officials on the field. It just doesn't, in my opinion.
I agree. You should have won, and you should have had a pen.
I mean, congrats to Lewis. I think they're going to absolutely smash United. And I think it's really weird to say this with 6 games left in the season, but I think it actually saves their season. I think it saves the rest of their season, because I think if they lose that, it gets in their head, it's starting to snowball. And then that pressure of trying to win the league gets a little bit heavier and a little bit heavier. You win this, you find a way to win this, and you're like, you know what, we can finish this out now. I get player mentality of next, wind chill, this, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But I also understand player psyche. You lost in PKs. You lose at Wembley. It starts to snowball. You might have guys, this injury is a little bit bothering me now, more so than I'm going to play through it. Or, I'm going to give a little bit more effort today because, hey, we got a chance to go back to the top of the league. And I think that's one thing that Pep's really great about is man management, because that's difficult. That is difficult for players to get up game after game after game after game, which makes last year's treble incredible when you really truly think about it.
Crazy.
And now the double's on. They have a chance to finish the season with 2 instead of 3.
You wash your mouth.
But they can be buoyed, I guess you would say.
Sure.
By this result.
We'll see Thursday. I think I'm really intrigued as to what we'll see from City on Thursday. Anything else to add, Lewis?
Patrick, the point you made, I heard it somewhere else, and I'm 50-50 on it for the following reason. I agree. If they lose that game, it does creep in your head because you lose a game, and I'm not saying it's the same thing, but City can kind of sort of feel what Chelsea felt because they were the better team against Madrid and did not score and did not win. The exact same scenario happened to them literally on Wednesday. And, to advance in the cup. So you kind of have it there. And then Bernardo Silva made a mention, but some of the other guys made a mention. Like Bernardo Silva said he didn't sleep after that penalty miss. I mean, this is a guy who's done it, won everything, and he said he couldn't sleep. So, I mean, obviously guys are psychologically there. Haaland's injury just didn't come out the blue. I'm sure there's something physical and mental connected there as well. Alvarez played horribly. De Bruyne made a comment about being tired as well. And you're hearing it from the guys. Kyle Walker, I mean, right off of an injury, had to play like multiple minutes. Everybody started to talk about the minutes accumulation. I mean, obviously, I mentioned at the beginning of the season about just the time that would catch up. So I agree on the surface. From the outside, I think you are right, or correcting your assumption or your sort of prognosis that it would have been an issue for them for the rest of the season because they would have. On the outside, you would think they would have to press everything else, especially since Arsenal and Liverpool both won their games. So now it's pressing. We got to win. So it affects your play. But at the same time, I think this thing is something where, and it's weird, they believed, and there's nothing wrong with this, and a lot of people believe it, they believed that they could win a treble again. And I think losing that game to Madrid, the way they lost it, because you lost the game and you knew you were the better team, period. There was no question they weren't the better. So
that's gut punch. That's a gut punch, no matter what.
It was head and shoulders. There was not even a question that you lose to one of the historic and still current good teams, and you're like, how? And so you're like, it doesn't even matter what I do. And you think they played them 4 times, or they played them multiple times, and they've only beaten them once. And the one time they beat them is when they won the thing.
Y'all played 3 of 4 Champions Leagues you've had to face Madrid.
And whoever won that one won the Champions League. And so you look at that and you're like, and so you were better than them and you lost. So now you're like, God. So now you have the mental thing there, but then you also have the physical thing that these guys were dog tired, even with subs. Like he changed, I think 4 or 5 guys, but everybody was mentally tired from that game, in addition to physically tired. So it was beneficial that Chelsea or Jackson specifically was like, you know what, I don't want to score today. no matter how open the goal is, I don't even want to score, and you go from there. And so I agree with you, Jake. I am looking forward to Thursday. I think it does change some of the psyche because the Thursday it's enough days where I think Pep said they're going to take 2 days off. They're just not going to do anything, as you should. And I think they'll be ready for the game. I mean, it's on the road, so they have to travel again. It's at Brighton, right? I think it's
at the AMEX.
Yeah. It's at. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if Holland plays. I don't know what the lineup is. Normally, I'm pretty decent at predicting the lineups. I have no idea what we'll see.
That's what I'm saying. I'm intrigued to see what we get.
But I don't know if we're going to talk about the United game or not.
That's next.
It's a derby, so I don't give anything up to destroying them. We were better than Madrid and lost, so I don't give those things up. And City missed a bunch of shots this season, so I understand. You're paying Patrick as a Chelsea fan, so finals and derbies are very, very different animals. Doesn't matter. If it was Coventry, being honest, I would assume a walk, but it wasn't. And so they might be riding some of that luck too. So, and it's a long time. It's a month away. It's a long time before that game.
Well, that's an absolutely perfect segue because we know how segues are weird.
Yeah,
United do what they've done all season long and embarrass themselves through this game and somehow, some way, come out winners. Ugh.
I joked with my buddy and I said to him, he's a United fan. They were up 3-0. I was like, man, I ain't watching this. And then he wrote me because he's the most pessimistic United fan ever because he can't stand Ten Hag. And he's like, dude. And I saw that he wrote back. He's like SMH, and I'm like, what? I look. It was either 2-2 or 2-3. No, 2-3. I was like
3-0. So
I was like, there's no way they blow this. There's no way. Literally, as I say, way, the third goal. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Like, you gotta be kidding me. And I said, if they lose this game, he gets fired on the spot. There's nothing else you can do. You have
he
to
should
fire
still
him
be fired on the spot.
But hey, man, they let him get in press conferences and say that water is dry and clouds don't rain. So it's whatever, man. It's whatever.
Yeah, that makes about as much sense as what he does say in the press conference. That's for sure. Man, I actually turned this off. I turned it off at 2-0. I was done. I was like, there's other stuff going on. I could go hate Liverpool and cheer against them, and there's plenty going on. We could go watch the end of Villa Bournemouth because this is ridiculous, Or no, that was Saturday. But yeah, I was just like, wow, I'll find something else to watch. And then when I was switching back to a different game because I was bouncing all around, I saw it in the queue. It said 3-2. I was like, no. And so I clicked on it.
That, did they?
I clicked on it, and Haji Wright was taking the pin. As soon as I turned the TV on, I was like, Haji Wright again. And then, of course, I heard somebody saying that they thought that they were shocked that United didn't come out in the overtime and really press them and really go against them. I'm like, did you watch the end of the game?
Exactly.
Did you watch
They were lucky to not lose then.
Coventry hit the bar in overtime. And let's be honest, Patrick, I agree with your earlier assessment. I mean, a toenail, really, guys? A shoelace? This is what VAR is used for? A shoelace. Amen. United are so lucky, man. They're so unbelievably lucky to have not lost this game. And what's ironic about this one is I have no love for Bruno Fernandes at all, and usually, I like to call it out when he's awful. So because of that, gotta give him his props. He was the only one.
Yeah,
I think in a United shirt, he was the only one that did anything at all. Really, their goals were
Maguire.
Yeah, Maguire was good. Their goals were the third one was a deflection. The first one was just shocking defending from Coventry, and McTominay was by himself in the 6 for the tap-in. For Ten Hag to say that they weren't embarrassed by that, when literally every other United representative I've heard from, YouTube fans, whatever, they're shocked. They're just nonplussed. The best example, Rasmus Højlund wins the game, celebrates by himself.
Yeah, Maguire went over to the Coventry players.
Yeah.
What better example do you need for how embarrassed you should be? It's like something we didn't mention that, sorry, Patrick, is super embarrassing. TIAGO Silva is crying.
Oh, yeah.
He's bawling his eyes out. And Nani Madueke is giggling, is laughing.
Yeah, man.
Cackling with Jackie Grealish. Bro, you just lost the semifinal.
He doesn't care.
Have some shame, dude.
Yeah.
Anthony. Have some shame.
He doesn't care.
Crap. Anthony, dude, you are being talked about in conversations with Fernando Torres as the biggest flop this league has ever seen.
Listen.
Now El Nino was good.
Don't be hating on Fernando. My man got us.
He was good for Liverpool.
Germany.
He was.
My man got us to Germany. He is forever forgiven.
Fair enough. Chelsea fans, yeah, whatever you like, whatever helps you sleep at night.
Hey,
But-
we won Champions League because he got us.
But you can't. Anthony is that's baffling. It's baffling.
Mhm.
And
But
Bruno
you
Fernandes.
know he's like a low sportsmanship guy. I don't know him as a person, so I'm not going to talk about his personal character. But you've seen he's a low sort of
Well,
sportsmanship
I mean,
kind of guy.
yeah, he's faced some charges. I don't know if you remember all
No, I
that.
remember the charges, but again, hey, man,
Whether that's true or not,
I'm not
you know,
going to go into his personal life. I'm just talking about
smoke, fire.
Yeah, but people can make up smoke, so I
hear you.
Personally, I'm gonna talk about him on the field and how he is lowbrow on the field.
I hear you. I agree. I don't think he's very good on the field either. I'm not his biggest fan. Out here mean mugging referees and yeah. Also Bruno Fernandes chatting it up with the goalkeeper. Come on, guys. This is sad. This is sad stuff.
The goalkeeper.
This is sad stuff.
You probably
Actually,
what he makes in a whole year.
I will say this though. In that instance. That's when the goalkeeper got a yellow card because he was literally screaming at Bruno. Like it was loud. You could hear it over the fans. He was like screaming something at Bruno, and Bruno after it was probably like, yeah, keep screaming, mother, So I have a little bit of sympathy there, and I of course understand. Like I've been in a shootout in a semifinal game before, like so I know the banter that kind of goes on sometimes between the kicker and the penalty. Just ask Emmy Martinez.
But you saw like he got a yellow for being stupid too.
Yeah. I think Onana got booked as well for screaming at the guy.
He did, but he won't miss anything because of that.
No, not at all. But yeah, I mean, it's just like United are playing Sheffield this week, and like it's only because it's Sheffield and it's at Old Trafford. Am I like, there's just no way. But then when I say there's no way, it's like 8th in the championship. Coventry are 8th. They got beat 3-0 by Birmingham City last week. Wow. Like it still blows my mind how bad United are. And yet, what are they, 8th in the table? 7th in the table?
8th.
We are farmers.
They're right above us. They have like 2 games in hand right now. Is it 2? Maybe it's 3.
They have 1 game in hand.
Sorry, they have 1 game in hand. West Ham has 3 games in hand on us. So
yeah, it's crazy.
United
And
is 7th.
I think that I heard somebody say that because Sir Jim Ratcliffe ran the London Marathon and showed up for the second half at Wembley. And somebody said that they should have just let Sir Jim go out there and play because he was doing more running than they were.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Yeah, but man, it shocks me that United are the way they are currently. It shocks me that Ten Hag is still in the job. But something that doesn't shock me and makes me...
I wanted to speak real quick.
Yeah, go for it. Before we're
it
done.
Came out today that TIAGO is done at the end of the season.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Which is absolutely just... I wanted to keep him in some fashion. There have been times this season where it's like, man, if he was just a little bit faster, if he
going to be playing?
He'd be the absolute stud that he's always been. And then I, think back to, and I'm thinking of this as a 39-year-old, like, dude's still a stud. I don't care if he can run with, Foden or whatever it might be. I mean, dude's still a stud. And people were talking on Chelsea Twitter about it was a total microcosm of what this team, club, whatever you want to refer to it as, is these days. You've got this youth who's immature and doesn't understand the moment. The most passion that we've seen out of Nani Madueke, it seems like, is when he's trying to get a penalty when we're up 4-0 in a game. And in a game or after games. And I think back to – sorry, I'm choking on something. I think back to my attitude I had when Clemson played Alabama in Glendale, Arizona, and Deshaun Watson's like laughing after the end of the game, and I got frustrated because I'm like, man, you just lost a national championship. Like, you should be heartbroken, And then I kind of take a step back, and it's like, well, in that moment, you're just kind of without emotion because you've put everything into it. But then I go back to Nani Madueke, and it's like, he didn't put everything into it. He didn't. He hasn't. He's had moments where, okay, maybe this is going to work with him. But they need to see TIAGO Silva, and he put everything into it, and it crushed him. It absolutely crushed him. And we're so going to miss him next year. And I was really, really hoping that we were going to get him as some kind of manager, some kind of coach, something. Because he's got the passion that Chelsea fans are like, Conor Gallagher's proper Chels and this, that, and the other. No, TIAGO Silva's got that. And I hope that we can find a way to keep him in some fashion, because there was I read something where he's like, he's not even sure if he's going to go to Fluminense or
Yeah,
not.
I heard Fluminense were after him.
Yeah, Fluminense, yeah. So,
however you say that. However you say that.
Yeah, exactly. I think you were right, more so than me. So, I mean, I hope we can keep him. I know we got his kids at the academy, and the Silvas in general. I mean, I know that his wife got flack for talking about Poach, but honestly, has she been wrong?
Truth hurts. Truth hurts.
So I think there's actual true passion from that family when it comes to Chelsea, and they'll be glad. I mean, it'll be dearly missed if we don't keep him in some fashion.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there were games in the Premier League this weekend, and the Arsenal have gone back to the top four now, of course. As we know, Man City will play on Tuesday, and if Arsenal can handle their business like we did against Wolves, we actually will still be ahead regardless of Man City's result. But we'll definitely get to the Chelsea game. First, we will discuss the wandering Wolverhampton Wolves, who were
Not wandering.
bit listless. I'll be honest with you. Before we give Arsenal their due, it is the caveat of Wolves were no Neto, no Cunha, no Ait Nori, just ridiculous injuries abound.
Did the 15-year-old finally come on?
He got subbed on at the very end, I think.
Really?
It was bad news bears for Wolves, and they didn't really put up much of a fight. But yeah, I thought we controlled the game. Definitely controlled the possession. We didn't give them much going the other way. Of course, Raya did have to make a save. I think it was telling at halftime that despite all of our possession, we were still a bit impotent in the final third. And the highlights package from NBC at halftime was very telling, because the first highlight of the half was the Raya save on 30 minutes. Which was the first time Wolves got over our halfway line almost. You know what I mean?
And that was when Kivior misplayed that ball.
Yeah, another just not great defensive error from Kivior. But other than that, I thought Kivior was decent. I definitely I took a whole bunch of notes actually on this one. I went through them all in my match reaction, which I will link for you to watch, of course. I thought Odegaard was pretty good in this one. I thought that Declan Rice, man of the match, bounced back from the disappointment of the week. I think it was very important that in some way, shape, or fashion, we get the job done here, and we did that. Interesting that I think one of the biggest things to take away from this game, obviously, is the 3 points, and we're back on top. But once again, Havertz starts in the middle, and it's people are coming at Trossard like, oh, Trossard starts and doesn't have that great of a game. Well, yeah, when Kai Havertz effing plays in the middle, and he's supposed to be the guy that's linking up with. When your left side is Kivior, Havertz, Trossard, that's why Martinelli's on an island. That's why Martinelli has not had as good a season this season as he had last season, because half the time Kai Havertz is in the left center midfield and doesn't give any support to the left side of the field. I don't understand. I'm not Arteta. I'm not the coach. I don't get paid the big bucks. He got a little indignant when they asked him why he played Trossard. In the presser, they asked him about why he played Trossard. He says, because I'm the coach and I make the decision on the lineup. All right, Doug.
Bro, true, but you got to be a little softer on that answer.
Yeah, because it's we're all seeing, what's happening here. And it's again, it's just coming to Arteta's. Is he trying to get Havertz in because there's a minutes quota? Or does Saka have a minutes quota? Come on, man. Wolves are missing half their starters. You can't rest Bukayo Saka?
Yeah. That's what I was going to ask you. It felt. I saw something. I need to find it for you. It's the top 20 players in minutes this season.
6 of them are Arsenal players.
Yeah, they're in the top 6. And I think it's a total of 10 10 Arsenal players.
Yeah, it's Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Bukayo Saka. They're all top 5.
Yeah.
I saw that list. Willie Saliba's number 1.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
On that list.
He never gets off. Nope. Never. He's just glued to the field.
Yep.
But somebody was saying underneath it, I was reading comments and whatnot, and they're like, something's got to change at Arsenal. You can't do this consistently. They're going to break down, and I think we see it with Saka now. My man's played this way for the last 2 years at least.
He gets roasted about limping. because he limps off literally every game. But in his defense, what's the first thing that happens to Bukayo Saka when he steps on the field and they blow the whistle? Every single game. Every single game. What's the first thing that happens? Just immediately gets the clogged out of him. Just gets kicked as hard. Alphonso Davies. What's the first thing Alphonso Davies did in the first leg at home? Kicked the absolute crap out. Like that's happened to him at Wolves. First thing that Saka's involved in the game, he gets the crap kicked out of him. So yeah, he's going to be limping around.
He's going to be going against my man Cuckoo on Tuesday.
Give him some. Well, we're not resting him now. We can't
No,
rest
you're
him
not
against
now.
Chelsea. There's no resting him now. We should have rested him against Wolves. We had the opportunity. But you're not resting him against Chelsea. That's because Chelsea actually get up for
We'll get up,
big
even though I'm not
teams.
so sure we will.
You get up and you do something. Look, you were up for the City game. You just shit the bed. You were up for it. You just didn't finish. You'll get up for this game. And it ain't going to be, you will be better than Wolves. We may elevate our game as well, but I think you will be more competitive than Wolves were. But I also thought that, as much as I was hating on Kai Havertz, he did battle for the aerial duels well, and we won a lot of second balls. So that looks good on Kai Havertz when we win the second balls.
He just looks like a baby giraffe on ice.
Yeah.
He really does. Like,
Yeah,
if you just focus on him in a game, it's like, bro, can you put 2 feet in front of the other? Or a foot in front of the other? Like, I think if we asked him to chew bubble gum and run, he would sit there and try to figure out how to do it.
He'd probably just swallow the gum. He would forget that he was chewing. He'd forget. This is what I would do. I would forget I was chewing gum. That's why I can't chew gum and play. Because I would forget that I was chewing gum and I would swallow it. Yeah. That would be 100%. That's happened before. True story. A couple more things I did want to highlight. A, what has happened to our free kicks? All of a sudden, we can't get over the first man again?
No, I know that pain so well.
And so in this game, we kind of realized that. We hit 2 horrendous corners and then started doing corner kick variations. We weren't hoofing it anymore. We just gave up on it. And I was like, probably best. And we were doing different things with the corner kicks. So something's, we got to, because we haven't seen a Gabriel or Willie Saliba header in weeks.
No, he's killing my fantasy team.
But we've scored 19 goals from set-piece situations, corners included. So, I don't know what happened there. Also, if you notice, we never play balls across the 6.
Nope.
It's cutback city all day long. Yep. And therefore, no one crashes the goal. No one's crashing the goal. And so in the end, right before we scored the second goal, Havertz gets, and by the way, Havertz had moved forward and Partey had come in, which
he's alive.
Why have we not been seeing this more? Like, what the hell? We were far better. We improved dramatically in the final 15 minutes of this game because Partey came in, Rice moved forward, Havertz moved forward, and we improved dramatically. Stop playing Havertz in the left 8.
I hope
it's so obvious. It's so right in front of your eyes, man. Come on. Anyway, Havertz plays the ball late in the game right across the 6. We had 3 guys 5 yards back. Someone, one of you, crashed.
And our problem is that we don't play it back. I mean, when we do, we actually score. When we play it across, nobody can get to it.
Yeah. But all in all, yeah, good day. Got the win.
You won.
Definitely needed 3 points. We're back on top. Rice, yeah, what can I say? Declan Rice, once again, man of the match. Definitely kind of picked us up in this one. And I've heard some shouts that, and I actually said this 7 months ago, but, Rice is looking maybe a bit more like a captain than old Odegaard. I'm not saying that. I've heard that. I think Odegaard still led well, but I was on AFTV like 6 months ago, right before the Tottenham game.
I remember.
And they asked me if Odegaard couldn't play, who would I pick as captain? And then on the day, I said Gabriel Magalhaes. But I also made the comment that I told him, I said, mark my words, this time next year, Declan Rice will be vice captain, if not the captain. And I think that he has put in the performances and is worthy of either or.
Would you
Or
take him
next
as
season.
captain over Saliba?
Over Saliba? Yeah, 100%.
Really?
Declan Rice is older, more experience. He's played in. He's gotten a lot of minutes internationally. He's not under Didier Deschamps, who doesn't seem to recognize that Willie Saliba is killing it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He'll play Upamecano?
Upamecano, yeah. I just think Rice is a leader. He's captained a side to a European trophy, albeit a conference league. He was captain of West Ham for years.
West Ham,
got the
champions of Europe.
He's got the experience, and so yeah, I definitely think that I'll be shocked if he's not at least vice captain next season. I don't think that Odegaard will be displaced, because I think Odegaard has led very well this season, but I expect Rice will be vice captain next season, 100%.
Well, I mean, it's a. I think the summer will do a lot. I mean, there's tons and tons of rumors out there. I think you sent that, Al Jake or Patrick, one of you, that there's going to be that it looks like there's going to be a lot of movement this summer.
Yeah, and the manager market and the player market, yeah.
I saw y'all's your transfer budget's going to be like 200.
That's what they're saying. We have a lot of debt coming off. I think everybody does, because the 3-year cycle this time for FFP will knock off all of the COVID debt. And so we're going to have a lot more room after that's done on June 1st. So yeah, we might get to 200. I've actually been a little bit critical of the fan base for right after Bayern just immediately like, okay, we got it. We're going to buy this guy in the summer, and we're looking at this dude in the summer, and we need to do this in the summer. Hello?
There's still
games. Still a league to win. So yeah, I definitely think we have areas that we need to improve, and there's going to be much needed movement in the summer. But I'm focused on the next 5 games. I'm focused on tomorrow. I'm focused on the here and now, and I'm glad that Arsenal were definitely focused on Saturday. That was, but. On the other side of the title race, Liverpool took care of business at Fulham as well with the 3-1 victory. It was a typical Liverpool performance, I thought. I thought they were actually a little bit better. They started a little bit better than they have done a number of times this season. But have y'all seen the highlights of this one?
I have not.
Free kick, man. Trent Alexander's free kick, dude.
I did see that.
Ooh, quality. That was an epic free kick.
Yeah.
There were good goals, some good goals in this game for sure. Jota with the dagger in the end to win it. There was some jeopardy for a while. You know how Liverpool like to keep you. Maybe they're gonna.
Maybe I should still pay attention to this.
Are they gonna Jota? And then Jota with a banger. Just to finish it.
That's how it usually happens.
With a dagger. I was a little bit, my one thing, I like Alex Iwobi for Fulham. Obviously, he's got a soft spot. But he was like, why was he on the wing? He never plays on the wing for Fulham. And it was really weird. I think maybe Marco Silva was like, it's Liverpool. They're going to be crazy. I got to try something different, do something crazy. And they were bought. I was a little bit sad with the full ham. They kind of gave a half ham. Didn't
I missed it by 1 goal. I said
thing.
4-1.
Yeah,
I was so close.
yeah. They in the end, Liverpool get it done, keep the pressure on. The way Liverpool are playing, even if we win all our games and they win all of their games, I don't see them pulling 10 goals back. Not 9 goals.
They're
back,
inconsistent, man.
Who they got left?
Super duper inconsistent.
I know they play Wolves, Spurs. I know they also play Spurs. They got Everton on Wednesday.
Yeah, I don't expect them to get much there just because it's a derby.
No, they'll beat Everton.
West Ham, Spurs, Villa, Wolves.
So Spurs and Villa.
Should
And
keep
maybe
them at bay.
and maybe Everton just because it's a derby and it's at Goodison. I think it's the
But
last.
that with Liverpool Wolves game, they're gonna go blitzkrieg.
Wolves are on the beach, man.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're gonna go blitzkrieg because it's Klopp's last game at Liverpool.
Yeah. Not 10 goals though. They're not going to overturn 10 goals. There's no chance.
I don't think they overturn unless they get like a 5 spot on West Ham. I don't think they do it. Yeah.
Not to mention the way the relegation battle is shaping up. And segues are weird. Everton won 2-0, and so they are actually
They're pretty safe.
like 5 clear. Yeah.
Safe.
And so the reason I bring that up is because if they're safe, done and dusted on the last day, coming to the Emirates, there's no chance Liverpool are overturning goal difference when we're playing an Everton who are safe and
That's
on the
true.
beach. You know
Well,
what I mean?
there's still a chance for more points to be deducted.
Yeah, that's
I
the
did
other side of it.
hear
Because if
that,
they need to win, yeah.
They're supposed to make their decision on their appeal before the end of the season. That's all they said.
Yeah, they're not going to win that appeal, man.
And that's the thing. That's where I come back to. Y'all are influencing the results of the season at this point.
Absolutely.
And that's where I have a problem with it.
Speaking of influencing the results of the season,
All right.
Ashley Young in the spotlight, handballs, horrific challenges,
One of those
No
challenges,
penalties.
I'm like, how did he not get a red?
no penalties. Oh, he should definitely have had a red.
How did he not get a red?
There were 3 yellow card challenges. He could have had a yellow for the handball, could have had a yellow or a red for the second challenge. So I think Nottingham Forest have every right to be pissed, have every right to put out their statements and whatever and say we're considering our options, like threatening, like some kind of veiled threat. We're about to bring in lawyers into this and all this. You're not going to win that, by the way. Just saying. But this was daylight robbery.
Yeah.
Not 3 penalties. One of them is okay, maybe.
2?
But 2 Stonewall pins.
Yeah.
And Forest are, if Luton could just pull their head from out of their hind quarters, it's there to be had, man. Survival is right in front of you. Just reach out and grab it. Because the FA is clearly trying they're trying to send Everton down. They're trying to send Forest down.
They're gonna 2 days before the season's over, be like, well, we're gonna deduct them another 7 points.
Yeah, right before Luton play
Matt's
Everton.
adding. Hold on, let me move my stuff. Make sure that's
Yeah.
relegation.
Oh my god, man! But as far as the way the balance of the game, like Everton were valued for their goals. They played decently enough. They just should have given up. They should have given up 3 penalties and lost the game.
Yeah.
Is honestly what it should have been. But the standard of refereeing is just like if Aaron Wan-Bissaka's was a handball in the Bournemouth game, then Jack Grealish is a handball. then Ashley Young is a handball. Like, can we? I mean,
that's all I ask for.
Asking for consistency at this point, man. I don't know. It's like beating my face against the wall. At this point, it's like these guys are just criminals. At this point,
to be fair, the only way we could have true consistency is if the same referees refereed all of the games for that, by the definition. But I
sure. But when the head of referees is like, "Oh, that wasn't a handball," or "Yeah, that was a handball," like.
Have y'all ever watched the Mike Up show? Have you ever watched the show with Michael Owen and Howard Webb? It's a disgrace. That show's a disgrace, dude. That's an absolute farce.
It's just straight up
farcical circus. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But speaking of farcical circuses, man, Luton are making me so sad. 5-1 to Brentford at home, dude. Come on.
Okay, all right. Hold on.
Tony didn't even play.
What's up with Tony?
I think he's hurt. Or is he limping into the waiting on his move?
He's on my fantasy team and there's no injury alert on him.
Yeah, I have no idea. I did hear that he asked Man United for $300K a week.
He did what now?
When their representatives met with his representatives, his agent told them if he was going to sign for Man U, he wanted $300K a week.
What?
That's what I heard.
So everybody just goes to Man U to rob them of money.
Pretty much.
That's at least one good thing I will say about us. We don't give everybody huge wages anymore. I mean, only select people.
Just long contracts.
Just 8-year contracts. Yeah.
But, found that loophole. We rode it as far as we could.
Absolutely. Luton, seriously, beat Everton. That is literally all you have to do. Literally beat Everton and avoid defeat one other time. And I'm certain you're safe. 4 points and you're safe. I'm certain 4 points would get Luton safe. Certain of it.
You should hold on, man. Now I gotta look at the tape.
Yeah, I've got it up right here. They're on 25. Forest is on 26. But they all play each other.
So Wolves, Everton, West Ham, Fulham.
See, the thing is, Forest played Chelsea and Man City before the end of the season, but they also play Sheffield and Burnley.
Well, I mean,
Burnley's just going to be fighting for it.
I'm gonna throw this out there.
Just once,
Burnley might make it.
They might.
What you looking crazy for? Burnley is 2 points behind Luton and 3 points behind Forest, and you just said they play them.
Well, they play Forest on the last day.
Hey, man.
On the very last day.
Vinny gets his own 93-20.
Burnley did win 4-1 over Sheffield United. They are making a late season push. I will give you that. They are making a late season push. I'll give you that.
And everything.
They are making a push. I'll give you that. Absolutely.
They got it rough. I just looked. They've got.
It's not great.
United. Then they get Newcastle at home. They got to go to Spurs, and then they get Forest at home.
Forest at home. Yeah.
Ooh, that's rough.
Absolutely, it's rough. Speaking of rough, Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 1. Villa looking pretty for that 4th spot in the league. Ollie Watkins is an absolute bro.
Baller.
That's who Arsenal should sign.
That's who Chelsea should sign too.
For me, Ollie Watkins would be crazy to leave Villa.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
No reason to leave Villa. You got Champions League next season.
Yeah.
No reason to leave Villa.
I mean, but you do have the Brighton sort of thing. Not Brighton. Who is it? Newcastle thing, where you're not used to it. Is it worth being just to be there, or do you want to progress?
Yes, but Eddie Howe, not even anywhere near the Champions League. Unai Emery has experience. Emery has experience.
Yeah, I mean, Emery has experience. They are playing
Europa King.
A European competition.
Far more experience than Eddie Howe.
Yes, I agree.
They're playing currently in a European competition. And yes, it's a totally different step up for sure, but it's that whole mentality of playing, 2 times a week or, and sometimes 3, depending on, cup games and whatnot.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying that they're going to go in and advance and this, that, and the other, but I think that they have a better situation heading into group stages than Newcastle did coming into this year. And we talked about it.
Absolutely.
How does Newcastle handle having to play on Tuesdays or Wednesday nights?
Well, we didn't have faith in them. That's what we said.
They didn't. They didn't handle it.
Exactly.
No faith.
No. Speaking of not handling things, Crystal Palace 5.
I'm watching the highlights.
West Ham 2.
The second goal by Eze. Oh my
Eze,
God.
bro. First of all, it's not necessary for him to do that. He can head this ball in. The goalkeeper is laying 10 yards in the other direction. He can just jump up and boom. But instead, it's a Cristiano Ronaldo scissor kick.
Yeah. Because why not?
Epic, dude.
I mean, oh man,
David Moyes is in trouble after this. Lot of rumors. I
saw that he was being let go.
I heard Amorim is
gonna bypass Liverpool for them.
That's what I've heard today. Like, that came out today. His representatives have been saying he's not going to Liverpool, but he's on a plane to London right now by West Ham. West Ham have flown Amorim to London, is what I heard. So.
Tells you something about Liverpool.
It does. A lot.
And it also tells you that, how bad that things have gone for West Ham. The fact that, maybe it's they come up against the German fairy tale and knocked out of Europe, and it's it's a hangover. But
I gotta say something about this German.
Speaking of the German fairy tale,
the latest.
What do you mean?
They were going to lose this weekend. They scored in the 96th.
Oh, of course. It's another 96-minute versus Dortmund. Yeah, of course.
I am rooting for them to win everything this year.
Me too.
Why not? Why not, dude? Do it. Absolutely. But I think that Crystal Palace, when they should be on the beach, Mr. Glasner has them. He's either like whispered in Eze and Elise's ear. He's like, "Look, guys, y'all are gonna get big moves this summer. You're gonna need to pick it up for the end of the season. You're gonna need to pick this up for the end of the season." And so in my predictions this week for the Palace game, I was like, interesting. They might be way better now because Elise and Eze are absolutely firing.
Oh, yeah.
5-2 smashed West Ham. And that's another team that, like I say, they're more than safe, up to 36, 5 games to go for them. Where they might have been in a little bit of trouble, the health of Eze and Elise returned, has turned them back around.
I'm going to be honest. I really want Elise at Chelsea, but I
want him at Arsenal.
Truly believe Eze in that 10 behind whoever's the striker and Palmer out on the right. Ooh, that could be fun.
If Poch,
say it depends on your manager.
I was gonna say, if Poch figures it out and and tells Enzo, look, Enzo, stay back, Caicedo, stay back, double pivot, let Eze cook.
Yeah.
And then I think it could work. Yeah.
No, he can't let him cook. Why would he do that? Only I cook because I cook.
Fair enough.
There's going to be a tough discussion about Caicedo and Enzo if we don't get rid of Gallagher, because Romeo Lavia is going to take someone's position.
Yeah. I don't understand how they still. I mean, I know it's silly and they would be crucified for selling one, but I don't know how you keep both of those guys though.
I think that Enzo.
I don't know how you do either.
I think Enzo would be the man out at that point. I think they're a little bit different players, but they're the same player too.
I gotta say, guys, you guys are absolutely killing it with the segues this evening. As we've come back around to Chelsea, what are you telling me about tomorrow, Patrick?
I don't feel confident at all. I really think that Saturday was a
Arsenal play Chelsea tomorrow, Lewis.
No, I said is Palmer out?
Oh yeah, Palmer's got a cold. Cold Palmer's got a cold, doesn't he?
Potentially. The status on.
I heard Gusto was for sure out.
Though.
Really?
He's in partial team training now.
What does that even mean?
So it could mean one of two things: either he's training off to the side, or he's training with the team, and they were going to play him as a sub. Now, when Gusto was coming back from, I think it was an injury, and Colwell, which, hold on, my man had a foot, like a toe. How is he still undergoing a rehabilitation program? Like, unless it's turf toe, like, you don't do anything for a broken toe.
Wrap it up and keep going, dude.
Exactly. But Chilwell's undergoing a medical assessment, as is Gusto. I'm really concerned about Gusto, though. Chilwell, he can. I hope we sell him. I'm sorry, not passing to Sterling.
So worst case scenario. Worst case scenario tomorrow. No Gusto, no Chilwell, no Palmer. What are we looking at?
A massacre.
Yeah.
Well, I think that anyway, but
I think
it's worse.
I think Raheem would play. I think that.
Do you risk Nkunku because you have to?
I think they may play. They may have to play him. I'm not really sure what else they would do.
I mean, unless
Enzo would play, even though Enzo, I mean, he really needs that surgery.
Yeah.
He was very sluggish at times on Saturday, and
he'll play.
But he's going to play. But I really think that he, yeah. I feel like Palmer's going to play. If he has energy, I think he plays. So I'm expecting him to play. I don't know how effective he's going to be. I fully expect Poach to put Conor Gallagher in the 10.
I mean, would you rather half a Palmer than, say, Mud Dog or Madueke?
You said half a Palmer.
I think half a Palmer just because. Well, I mean, that would be more Madueke than Mudrick anyways.
Crushed ice Palmer.
Warm Palmer.
Warm Palmer. No. But no, I mean, it would be more Madueke than Mudrick anyways, playing on the right.
Does Poch just don't like Mud Dog? Is that what it is?
I don't think he does. And he's made that kind of quite clear for a while. He's made some comments about, he's immature, this, that, and the other. He did go after Madueke, which was more than fair because he was out at a club when he was supposed to be injured, whatever. But if I'm thinking of a lineup, I think it's Silva, Shalaba.
It's going to be disaster, isn't it? Axel disaster right back.
Yeah.
Or maybe Alfie gets the start.
I'd rather Alfie start, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to potentially make the mistakes that Disasi will. It's going to be Cuckoo on the left. Then
Who's in front of Cuckoo? Who do you think? Because we know the midfield is Enzo Caicedo, Gallagher, but who's in front of Cuckoo? Because that's going to be very, very important.
I think it's Sterling.
That's bad news, Bears. That's very bad for you because we heavily focus, especially if he plays Kai Havertz in the left 8. We heavily focus on the right-hand side and trying to get in behind the left back. And so if we notice early on that Sterling will not track Ben White, Cuckoo's going to get wrecked.
Yeah.
Because Saka, Odegaard, and White will combine to get in behind him all day long.
Yeah. I think it's Sterling. I think that – but the thing I will say about Sterling in bigger games, he does provide some defensive cover. Not a lot. I'm not saying that he is going to be, do
you think if Poch in general sends the team out in a defensive mindset, that he'll
get blasted?
That Sterling will then individually have more of an eye on his defensive responsibilities?
I think if he sends out a team that is with a defensive mentality, we're going to get blasted. Because we'll just sit back and absorb and absorb.
So you'd rather see a basketball game?
I'd rather see a basketball game. I'd rather it be like a 3-2, Arsenal, Chelsea, whatever it might be. I think that's our best chance, just because of the injuries in hand. If we set up like we did against City at the Etihad, I would be fine with that, but we're a lot more injured at this point. I mean, I think Gusso's done for the season, maybe the summer.
That's what I heard, that he's done for the season.
When you make a comment about the back of the knee, that's a ligament of some sort. Hopefully, it's just an MCL. That's 3 months. And then Chilwell.
Regardless, he ain't playing tomorrow.
I don't think so. I mean, he's undergoing how was it quoted? Medical assessment.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. What does that even
it's
mean?
Not as bad, but I'm not.
What happened to Dr. Who got needles?
Huh?
So what happened to Dr. Who got in the special needles? Dope him up, man.
Oh my goodness.
But he went down against y'all, and it was like, oh, that doesn't look good. And then they shot him up with something, and he played for like another 10 minutes, and then he kind of hobbled off. So I don't know. Jackson at the front line. It's all about that 10. If it's, somewhat of a Palmer 10, and you've got Sterling and Mudryk, okay? Because Mudryk will play defense. I will say that. He does
play defense.
But I'm not confident in any matter. If this had been 2 weeks ago, it would have been different. But I think that I don't want to say they're on the beach because they're not. I think there's still something to play for. But I also think Saturday mentally was not a good thing.
No. Definitely wasn't. I think as far as Arsenal are concerned, I'm intrigued to see what Arteta's going to come out. I really and truly, desperately, from the bottom of my heart, want to see Thomas Partey start this game. Now, speaking of injuries and people who were injured, Urian Timber played in the U21s today.
Oh, wow.
Against Blackburn, and 8 minutes into his appearance, scores an absolute banger, dude. Gets the ball makes an underlap, gets the ball in the top of the box, cuts his man, spins and rips at top 90, top bins, bro.
Oh, yeah, Timber. I will say this. If Timber played this season, he would have been your signing of the season. It wouldn't have been Rice.
I don't know if I agree with that, but he's awesome.
Fan.
He's awesome. And there are rumors that he's in the squad on Sunday.
Why not?
First
Why
Tottenham.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why not?
Because it's Tottenham and it's his first game in 19 years or whatever. Like, you know, no, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man.
There.
I think if he comes on for 15 minutes against Chelsea, maybe.
Put him in there.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We got to deal with Chelsea first, and he won't be playing. I don't think he's playing tomorrow. But I desperately just every fiber of my being, I don't want to see Kai Havertz in the 8. If you have to start him up top. Let Jesus play on the right. Give Saka a rest if you have to. If you're going to play him, sure. But you don't have to play Jesus and Havertz. You really don't, bro.
Of course you do.
No. And Trossard, I love Trossard, man. I'm a big fan of Leandro Trossard. And it's really weird that he's just not at his best when he starts. It's odd, but I still wouldn't mind seeing him start. So either Jesus, you know what? Let Martinelli start. Give Martinelli more minutes. You know, so I wouldn't mind.
That'd be an advantage for him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't mind Martinelli coming in late when people are tired either, but you know, I definitely want him. I think Martinelli should start. So I think it should be Martinelli, Havertz, Saka. Just because I think it will be Saka. I don't think there's any use in contemplating because, you know, Arteta's going to play him anyway. But, yeah, I want to see Partey, Rice, of course, Odegaard. And Tomiyasu, I think, should play. But, honestly, I think because Arteta's going to anticipate us having ridiculous amount of the ball, I'm afraid we're going to see Zinchenko.
And Georgie?
Maybe not Georgie. We might see Partey. I'm hopeful that we'll see Partey. But if we don't see Partey, I want Jorginho. Please, God, do not play Havertz in the 8. That's just all. That's all. Please, God. But yeah, I won't be surprised to see Zinchenko because Arteta's going to expect to have a lot of the ball.
Do you think he rotates any?
That's what I'm saying. No, I don't. Like, I mean, who are you thinking? Who would you mean rotation? Who's coming in? Like, the only rotation you're going to see is up front.
Yeah,
and maybe at left back. You might see You might not see Kivior. It might be Tomiyasu or Zinchenko.
Man, if it's Zinchenko, I feel like we can get a goal there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can get in behind Zinchenko all day, but Gabriel will be who your forward, your winger will be up against Gabriel at that point.
Yeah.
And I don't fancy any of your wingers against Gabriel.
Well, I mean, if
definitely not Madueke.
Out that side, I think we could potentially get something there. But
maybe Palmer will have it, but yeah, but Palmer's not a one-on-one guy. He's not a. He's not a, I'm going to take this guy on one-on-one. He's more of a cut inside and find a pass or find the space for a shot instead of trying to dribble a guy and get down to the byline or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm confident. You know, I think Nico Jackson needs a whole host of chances to score one. And he absolutely fluffed his lines a lot. His confidence is going to be low. And if Cole Palmer doesn't play, if Gusto doesn't play, I'm even more confident. And at the end of the day, man, we have to have it. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's the same. If we don't win this game, it's over for me.
Crazy thing is, if we find a way to win this, which I'm not confident by any means, but if we found a way to win this, 6th place is legitimate chance at that point.
That'd be massive. It'd be massive for you guys, yeah.
Because we would jump West Ham and we would jump United and be behind Newcastle on goal differential.
Yeah, it'd be massive for everybody. Definitely be massive for City and for Liverpool. But I'm pretty confident. In fact, I'm saying I'll be nice and give you a goal. I'm going 3-1 to the Arsenal.
I went 2-1 Arsenal.
Oof. Woof. Woof.
I mean, if Palmer doesn't play, I
hear it. What you thinking, Lewis?
And I'm not saying if he played, I would be confident in a win by any means, but I would be like, you know what?
More confident.
Better chance.
I got 2-0, man. Arsenal. I mean, if Palmer doesn't play, they don't score, man. Period.
I hear that. Yeah, I don't know. I think there may be an element of I don't know, though, because I thought the mentality as far as how we looked against Wolves, there wasn't much. There didn't seem to be a lot of nerves. We weren't necessarily like shaky. And I'm not going to sit here and just straight up say, "Oh, we're done with being nervous." That's not a thing anymore. I'm not going to sit here and say that because Jesus, what we've seen from this team, and it's a London derby. It's a team that we know there's history with. So there's a little bit of that there too. But at the end of the day, have to win this game. Absolutely. There's no other. A draw's not good. A draw is a loss at this point. Like, here's the thing. If we go out and we're like, oh, well, City are going to win it anyway and kind of give it a half-hearted effort and draw, and then Brighton do a madness, we're just going to be kicking ourselves. You're pissed at ourselves. So we just have to go into every game in this title run-in, as if, look, Man City, Brighton might do it. Forest might do it. We have to believe that Man City are capable of drawing another game this season in our minds when we approach our games. We have to win. There's no other excuse. There's no other. Champions win the game.
Yeah.
Period.
I'm going to say this, though. I'm really tired of playing y'all at the Emirates during the week. Like, can we get a weekend game? Like,
it was supposed to be a weekend game, and it's your fault. It's your fault. You're the one that went to the FA Cup semifinal.
Turn around and cup.
You're the one that went to the FA Cup semifinal and embarrassed and missed all your chances. That's not on us.
When do we play Tottenham? When do we
Tottenham's run-in is dookie.
We play Tottenham next Thursday.
Because y'all play Tottenham play us, then they play City, then they play Chelsea, then they play City, and they finish with Liverpool. It's disgusting.
We play at the Emirates tomorrow. We play at Villa Saturday. Then we get Tottenham at home, West Ham at home. We go to Forest, and then we go to Brighton.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Definitely going to be a very interesting run-in. Very interesting run-in. I, for one, am pretty excited about it. And speaking of, Lewis, AMEX, Brighton, Thursday. What you telling me?
It's a very interesting setup because of not knowing the setup. But if I'm guessing, right, there's enough days we'll have watched enough games. It's at Brighton, so Brighton will score 1. 2-1 City.
This one is really intriguing to me, man, because, first of all, like you say, I'm not sure what City we're going to see. Is Haaland's going to be back? Will De Bruyne and the likes of SILVA and be back at it? Obviously, I'm desperately praying for a draw. I just don't see it, man. I want to see it. I want to believe it. But this game is going to be open. It's going to be back and forth. I think if City go and press really high, like I'm expecting Pep to, that Brighton don't have a prayer, especially if they give an early mistake, an early goal, and then it's going to have to be damn the torpedoes, and it's just going to be open season on the break. I want to say 3-3, but I expect it to be 3-1 City.
That's what I wrote down.
Yeah. I desperately
I think
want to draw, but
I really do think they're buoyed from this weekend, and they're like, okay, got the shot in the arm, we got a little bit of rest, let's go finish this.
So, Lewis, you said haven't really heard much on Haaland.
Yeah, he's not listed as injured. Like, I'm looking at the injury list, and he is not listed as injured. I think his thing is more psychological, and I mean, obviously he probably had a knock, because if we couple what happened in the last few days, he apparently asked to come off in the Madrid game. Then he doesn't play the next game and has niggles or an injury. That's the season is starting to get to him kind of thing to me.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is that he's playing poorly for comparing himself to himself. Overall, I mean, statistics and all that stuff, he has those. But I think because he's a competitor and he wants to play well, he's trying to figure out how to fit in the system, because last year Kevin was there enough where Kevin was able to feed him, and then Gundo fed him as well. But if it's not Kevin, he almost never touches the ball, and he's adjusted his play. So it's a matter of like, okay, I don't have these two guys that one of the two are going to be here to get me the ball. So what can I do? And then you have to also add on to the fact that in a psyche wise, City need him for goals, but they don't need him like they did last year, because Foden has been scoring and Alvarez has been scoring. So his role, if I'm looking at it ego-wise, might be diminished. So ego-wise, he might feel lesser, because he's like, they don't need me like that. And, you know, it's something where I think this is a good time for him going into, you know, to close out the season, to show the value he has, and not for other people, but for himself, because this feels like a confidence game that he needs to play. Because if I'm not mistaken, I did say for the lineup for the last game, I didn't expect him to start. I didn't know he was injured or anything,
You did,
but I didn't think he would play, because I felt like it was in his head. So I think this one, there's two reasons why I think he probably, if he's healthy, he plays. It's away, so he doesn't deal with the pressure of home fans. So he's used to the boos. That's different. And Brighton is open. They always play open, so he knows he's going to get chances in this game. So it's about finishing those chances, because he's not finishing the chances he finished last year. And it's an interesting thing. I saw a video, and it showed a chance that he finished last year that he got almost the same chance this year, and he didn't finish it. And people are like, man, you know, he's off it. But then if you look at the chance he finished last year, no one else was finishing that chance. So it was like, you weren't supposed to finish that in the first place. So now you're jaded about sort of where you are. Is he a world-class striker? Yes. I mean, compared to all the other strikers that exist in the day. Could he be better? Absolutely. But his issue is between his ears, because we've seen him miss some things, and you're like, what is he doing? And so he has goals, but he doesn't have the cachet behind those goals. And that's why, you know, the Bellingham PR machine that's moving now of, we've never seen anyone have a debut season in the league like this. Really? You sure we didn't just see one last year? But because it is what it is, because he's played below what people expected him to do, which is insane to think somebody would do that over and over.
It's just unrealistic.
So it was always a drop off. It was always a drop off coming.
So let me ask you this question: do you agree that Pep's going to press Brighton pretty high, get in their face because he knows they like to build up?
I think so.
Do you think Alvarez would be better in such a strategy, as far as more of a mobile presser against the ball?
He would be, but Alvarez has been out of form, and so he doesn't necessarily deserve to be on the pitch either, because the last game he played was poor. And so if I'm making the decision between Alvarez and Haaland, and I understand that the problems that Haaland causes compared to Alvarez, and if we're going to press, I know Foden is going to play, Grealish is going to play. They might stay. Bernardo looked a little worn, so I wouldn't be shocked if I saw Doku, Grealish as my wings, with Foden in the middle of the park with De Bruyne and Rodri. That wouldn't shock me to give Bernardo a rest and Bernardo be a sub. Because Doku has been so hot that this feels like a game that he would thrive in because of how open it would be and the opportunities he'd be able to get.
Definitely.
But I'm kind of curious about what they'll have on the back line. I don't think Stones starts this game, but I don't know, because I know he didn't play in the last one. No, he did. He played, right? He played in the second. He played at the end. He closed out the game, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if he starts this one, because of just the turnaround, and they've been trying to preserve him. So I expect to see Gvardiol come back in. Diaz will start. Yeah, I guess Stones will start this one. I think Stones will start. And
I guarantee it'll be Walker, because Adingra, you're gonna be up against Adingra.
Yeah.
Who's quick.
Even
Very
though
quick.
the thing is that but City has done well and dealt with sort of guys who have pace because they play Akanji there. Even though people don't count Akanji as being fast, the way he defends as a fullback, he's pretty quick. So, I mean, he's not like foot race fast, but he's done well because, I mean, you got to think he played against Vinny. And Vinny is like blazing, and he dealt with that pretty well. So I think, but Akanji came off in the last game. And you have to think of the balance of, do you want to play Walker right again after you just wore him out and he just came back? That's why I'm potentially leaning towards Walker not starting the game.
Yeah.
He might play,
It'll
but
be
I don't know if
interesting
he'll
to see.
start.
It'll be interesting to see for sure. I'm sure also that Pep will have something up his sleeve. I'm praying, hoping to the gods of football for a Brighton result. But deep down, I feel like that
Not a reality.
the death robots in the blue of Manchester gonna roll them over. But yeah, there are a couple other games. We'll fly through some predictions here at the end of the show. Let's see, what do we want to start with? Of course, Everton hosting Liverpool. The final Merseyside derby of the Klopp reign. The final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. Is it going to be spicy, or are the rumors that this, the opinion that this derby is no longer a derby really coming to the forefront?
It'll be a derby next year. It'll be a derby next year because Everton, who will, for some way, somehow beat the drop, and Liverpool will be, looks like they're trending towards being a middling team. It'll be a derby next year. This year it won't be.
Fair enough.
I think Liverpool smokes them, man. I think Everton gets one, but I think Liverpool smokes them. 4-1.
4-1.
Whoa.
It's a derby. Liverpool understands goal difference, right? Because they are 7 behind you, 8 behind you, right?
They are 8
Yeah.
8 behind us.
They got to get as many. I think they get 4. 4-1.
I don't know, man. Everton's defense, despite the 6-0-er, is still one of the best in the league.
4-1.
I don't think Liverpool are going to get 4 goals. I think it's going to be it'll be a good game. I think it'll be an open game. I think the desperation, because Everton can see it. They can see survival. Imagine, dude, if Everton beat Liverpool at home and that's the win that secures survival, you know what I'm saying?
They would be putting up a statue of Sean Dyche at the new stadium.
It won't mathematically secure survival, but it'll go a hell of a long way. And so I think that'll be in their minds. I think they're gonna defend, as like only Sean Dyche teams know how. Maybe the referees will be with them. I don't know. They were on Saturday, whatever that was. So, but it is the Klopp retirement tour, so we expect the referees to be with them as well. I don't know what's going to happen in this one, man. It could be crazy. I'm saying Liverpool 2, Everton 1. I think it'll be closer than, maybe paper would tell you. But I think Poole will edge it. What you saying, Patrick?
I think Poole win. I think there's just a little too much quality. Only thing I could see is, again, the derby really playing a role. I've got Poole winning 2-0.
Yeah. I can definitely see it. But I'm cheering Everton, of course, cheering Everton. I know Liverpool are back a bunch of goals, but it would do me quite nicely to see them drop more points. But of course, Manchester United at Old Trafford hosting Sheffield United. I want to go ahead and say, yeah, that's going to be a bloodbath. But I also thought Chelsea were going to beat Sheffield. I also thought United were going to beat Coventry pretty badly. Because I'm an asshole. I also thought that United were going to deal with Coventry quite handily. And so there's a bit more jeopardy, or am I waffling? Is Sheffield still the worst team we've ever seen in the Premier League? I can't see Sheffield doing anything at Old Trafford. 2-1 United.
I got 2-0 United.
Yeah, it's just, I know that United are trash, and they.
I mean, truthfully, if you look at it, Sheffield's done.
They're so bad, dude.
They have at best 15 more points out there. They're done.
They can only hit 31. Yeah.
Yep.
Only 4 teams are below that right now.
Yeah, they're done.
I mean, maybe they'll give one. Maybe there's a win one for the Gipper. Maybe some pride. But no.
I mean, looking at this, the only teams that really are needed to be paid attention to for the bottom are Everton, Forest, Luton, and Burnley. Brentford hit 35, so Burnley cannot pass them.
Bournemouth are good.
Bournemouth
are good.
They're more than good.
Palace are good.
Luton has 4 games left, so that's 12. So 37 is the number for them.
And Luton play Forest, or Everton, rather.
Yeah. So, Burnley has something to play for. Luton has something to play for. Sheffield does not. Now it's just pride. Damn the Torpedoes. Maybe they do something, but
no.
Yeah, I think it's 2-0 United.
I doubt it very seriously. What you saying, Lewis?
Well, in the last 3 games between Sheffield and United, they were decided by 1 goal, and Sheffield won the middle one. So I'm gonna give Sheffield a goal, and then I'm gonna give United a goal, and that's where I'm gonna stop.
Wow!
Even
impressive.
Even I, who have talked a ton of trash here on this platform and on Instagram. Yes, Cup Chasers have an Instagram. Go check it out. About Manchester United. Did not predict them to draw to Sheffield. I love it.
So
They're-
speaking of prediction,
1,000% were supposed to lose the last one, and they were walking that game. I don't see why Sheffield can't look at Coventry and be like, look at Coventry.
Eighth in the championship.
And say,
They're
hey, we'll
nine-
be there soon. We're going to show them that we're going to be 7th.
9 spots back of Sheffield.
9 spots back to Sheffield. Hey, there was a graphic for Predictions League update, but it didn't show up. Like I clicked on it, and it did not show up.
What was there?
That is lame.
I know.
Yeah, I did horribly. Lewis caught me up, and Patrick, you're 15 points clear. That's how bad.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I hit two right on the button. Arsenal and Villa.
Yeah.
I have one miss, and that was Luton, Brentford. I had it as a draw. And, well,
You are well ahead.
still time.
I think it was 355. Yeah, I mean, I've got it on mine.
Yeah, it just didn't come up. It was weird.
Well, here it is right there.
355. Wow.
Yeah, I had a horrible week. For those listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and all the other platforms, Patrick has taken a large lead here with 5 games left. 355 on top. Lewis and I are tied at 340, and Xavier is on 304.
So what jersey do we have X wearing? Because I mean the X is pretty close to Sheffield status.
Waterchino, right?
I have a shirt that I'm gonna get made.
Oh, that's right, the shirt. I'm still
yes.
not cool with this shirt, by the way.
I know you're not cool with it, but you don't have to wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be great. And there's going to be some throwbacks to some legends, and there's going to be some shade thrown. Sorry about you, Mr. Drogba. We love you. Some of us, at least. All right, moving on. Two other games, make-up games here in the week that are quite interesting. We'll start with Wolves versus Bournemouth at Molineux. I guess this one could have been interesting, but I think they might both be on the beach.
I think so, too.
Bournemouth are safe, and Wolves looked real listless against us last time out at home. Injury-ridden. I think that there might not be a huge amount of intensity, but I think that it'll still be a good game. I've gone for a 2-2. What are we thinking?
I too went with a draw. I went 1-1 though. I think they're both just we're good. We're staying up. Now I could see that there might be some motivation for Bournemouth to want to move up. Same with Wolves. But it's just a spot, maybe 2. It's not going to get them into Europe. It's not going to get them, So it's just about pride. That's why I went with 1-1.
Yeah. Fair enough. What you thinking, Lewis?
It says statistically, right? Wolves haven't kept a clean sheet in 8 matches, so that gives Bournemouth a goal. All right there. And Bournemouth got a goal the last time they played them 2-1. And I think the score line will be exactly the same. 2-1 Wolves.
2-1 Wolves?
Yep.
The Wolves that wander.
To Wolverhampton. And that leaves us with the final game that I mentioned earlier, actually. Crystal Palace hosting Newcastle. Now, 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, I would have said bloodbath to Newcastle. But Mr. Eze and Mr. Elise have come back into the team, back on form. 5 goals last time out. and it's changed my mind completely. Newcastle, while they are consistently strong and quick on the counter, good defensively at home, they have struggled on the road this season. But they are still strong, of course. I think this is going to be a barnstormer. But I think that Palace are going to pull another shock. 3-2 to the home team at Selhurst Park.
Dude, I wrote the same thing down.
No way.
Seriously. I have the
Nice.
same mindset. Like, I think Isak gets a goal. But Eze and Elise as a pair, I mean, and Mateta was putting it in. I mean,
Tank.
how can you
The
not?
tank, bro. Shout out Mateta. Homie is a tank, man.
He
I like
reminds me of oh gosh, what was his name? Carlton something. Carlton Cole, maybe? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know who that is.
He kind of reminds me.
If that's who you're thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's who it was. I'd have to look. But he
Yeah.
reminds me of him. Just an absolute tank.
He's got
He
finesse,
don't
though.
want
He's got a good finish.
Huh?
He's got a good finish on him.
He does.
He's got some finesse. For sure.
Yeah.
What you saying, Lewis?
I'm looking at this, and the last two results that they both had are like emphatic, right? They won emphatically, and then they had a tight one. So this looks like a draw to me, but I'm gonna go 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw. Yeah. Still calling for a good game. I definitely think it's looking as such, and I think it's very interesting. The little bit of a revolution, whatever word you want to pick, over at Crystal Palace under Glasner. Of course, having Eze and Elise is going to be a big help. But, yeah, a little bit of a late season surge as well. Well, yeah, there you have it. It's going to be a very fun week in the league, at least I'm hoping.
I want to say
Go
this
ahead.
real quick. I know we don't talk about La Liga a lot, but pretty much Real locked it up this weekend.
Yeah, well, what about goal line technology?
No, they don't
Is
believe
there-
it. They don't
Who
believe it.
uses goal line technology?
They don't believe
What do
it.
you think we're like in an advanced technology modern age where computers and videos get or things have microchips that are connected to other micro? Get out of here. But I want to throw a thing in there. Congrats to the guys who made the Premier League Hall of Fame, since this is a Premier League podcast.
Yeah.
John Terry and
Ashley Cole.
Ashley Cole.
Well, Ashley Cole, I think, was long decided. And was it Andy Cole? I think was the other one.
I think Andy Cole too.
Was
Yeah.
it? Nice. That's what's up. Yeah, man. I definitely think. Did you see the video I sent of Jose congratulating John Terry?
That was
Yeah.
so cool, man. It was cool.
That was cool.
Yeah.
So what's the take on the Jose rumors that he's either going to take over Liverpool or Fulham?
He's not taking over.
Fulham.
No,
He's not taking over Fulham.
he's not taking over Liverpool either. He literally lives like right next door to both Chelsea and Fulham.
Yeah, but Jose don't do things for no reason.
Just because he was at the Liverpool game, people are like, oh.
I mean, he was at the Brentford game one day last week too. I believe.
Prognosticating, could Jose do something at Liverpool?
I think Jose could do
not with the
something
current
anywhere he
players
wants to
because-
do something. But I don't think he's going to Liverpool.
I don't think he is either.
Me either.
I think there's a number of players that wouldn't be there, so I think it'd be an interesting project.
Yeah, because
If he did-
it's a cleaning. They're cleaning house,
But the style would have to change so dramatically.
but they don't have it. They don't have a manager. And if you're cleaning house and the manager is gone, you can start whatever you want.
I mean, sure, but I don't know if he really wants to go through a whole rebuild.
I mean, if he gets
That's
like
really
carte
not
blanche-
his MO. He did it at Roma, but even then, it was kind of
Didn't really work out
hard
either.
for him at times.
he had carte
Didn't
blanche.
end
He'd have
well.
carte blanche at Liverpool, and who knows, right?
Who knows? Yeah, that's another one that's going to be answered in this,
And
this
Tuchel's
crazy,
being
crazy summer. Oh yeah, Tuchel's being linked
rumored
to Liverpool as well,
United.
and United. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because apparently Nagelsmann re-signed with the national team. So
Yeah, exactly. That was shocking, I thought.
Yeah, it's going to be wild, wild west out there, that's for sure. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to this week. And if you are as well, go ahead and get the likes up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are grateful for you being here. We're on our way to that magical 1,000. And get the notification bell on so you're with us for all of the action. I will, of course, be live tomorrow for the match reaction with Arsenal. Go ahead.
We got to say happy birthday to X.
Oh,
Of course.
yeah.
Got to say happy
That's
birthday
why.
to X.
Happy
That's
birthday.
why
to Ed.
Xavier was not here tonight. It was his birthday, and so he would obviously much rather spend it elsewhere. than with,
You didn't have to, reminisce about all the misses and Pochettino
Yeah, we don't-
and all that.
we don't want to make him think about that on his birthday. Why would we do that?
He's had a good night. He didn't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, he's definitely had a good night for sure. Yeah, so definitely wishing him a happy birthday, and hopefully he'll be back. He'll probably be back on Thursday rather. It is after all the
You
games.
just create new days of the week now.
Yeah. Who knows? I make stuff up. You know that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking up on the fly here.
Yeah, definitely. You'll definitely see me tomorrow. I'll be live for the Arsenal match reaction right after the game, and the whole panel should be here on Thursday. Once again, we are grateful you are here, and you will see us next time.
If Chelsea wins, I'll do a live match